There are a lot of triad lesson videos on YouTube. In this video, I will teach you how to actually use triad shapes in your worship guitar playing. So for these examples today, we're going to break down Revelation song, 4 chords. I look at this as the key of G major because all 4 chords can be built from the G major scale, but that's just for simplicity's sake, that's how I look at it. And the chords are D major, A minor, or A minor 7, C, and G. And we're going to use these triad shapes. The 3 notes that make up a chord is a triad. And the visual part of triads is so powerful. Along with that, if you visualize the notes that sound good around each triad shape, that's taking it to the advanced level. You can see the shape, but you can also see the notes, but also in any key you can see these little moves, and then you start putting these things together. So D major, triad that I like to use, that I use all the time. A minor. C major. G major. There's different voicings you can use. These are the most common that I use every time I pick up the guitar. So if we put on this track, it's going to cycle through the chords, and I'll leave a link for this backing track so you can practice some of these concepts. But this is a wonderful worship song, but we can play around those chords with melody. So we're looking at the D chord to start this progression, barring in the D, G, and B strings on the 7th fret. But for me, and I'm going to show you these common moves, every time I see a D major chord that starts like that, I can use these common moves. But the melody, right here in the 7th fret of the B string, 9th fret of the G string, 7, 10. It's going to A minor. It's the same shape, moving it down 2 frets. 5 on the B string, 7 on the G, then 5, 8. C major. So 5 to 8. 5 on the G. 7. 4, because you're going to a G. So I'm visualizing the chord shapes. This is just right on the lower strings here, but you see those moves very simply. You always have those moves. The sliding up from 12 to 10 on the B string. And then it's going to an A minor chord so you can hit the C note here. Go into a C chord. Then it's going to G. B note there because it's in the G chord here, the G triad. And a little bluesy move here. 10, 12 on the E string, and then 12, 10 slide. Going to the G note here in the 8th fret of the B string. Then it's going back to D. And that song, though, it goes 8 on the B, 7 on the G string, and then 7 on the B string. You can play those melodies around any group of triads. So the aha moment for me with using triad shapes was visualizing the little moves that you can do over pretty much any triad I visualize on the fretboard. I am visualizing the notes I can play around it. I don't always play them. When I get inspired and feel a spark of inspiration, I might throw some of these notes in there. With the G, looking at that shape, and just I like to use my second finger here and then do a half bend. Release. So you're doing that in the 7th fret of the E string and then run down the rest of the chord. You can keep going because you have a G triad here. I'll leave the track link. Practice these simple concepts. This is an awesome track. You just can get lost in playing over those triad shapes that I taught you earlier. Once I learned this concept, I felt creative again. I felt like no matter what song I played, if there was no guitar parts, you have a foundation to start with the triad shapes and the little moves around those shapes. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and remember, Jesus loves you.